All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Staff Chats. So we got Cameron and Eric and John.
Yes.
If you guys want to, well, I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Adam. I'm the visual arts director, which means I do all the video and audio and random things like that. Cameron, if you want to say what you do.
Yeah, I'm the youth pastor at the Carnival campus. I also, you may see me do MC stuff. Well, not currently right now, but do MC stuff on Sunday morning live stream as well.
And I'm
you, John?
John. I'm the mobilization pastor. And I feel like mine is the hardest position to explain because most people probably have no idea what that is. But I'll be the campus pastor down in Staunton whenever that opens back up, whatever that's going to look like in the future, and then oversee at a network level the campuses and anything that's mobilization, whether it's missions, outreach, whatever it may be, kind of big picture type stuff there.
Yeah. Eric?
And I'm Eric. I'm the network worship pastor, which basically means the other volunteer pastors at the other campuses that are leading worship for us. We coordinate with them, different songs and various things, as well as me leading worship at the Carlinville campus and sometimes on youth nights, but we got an awesome youth band now, so a little bit less and less.
Yeah. By the way, if I ever look to the right, there's another screen here, so I'm not just like ignoring. This is just kind of a fun thing that we've decided to do more. Well, okay, first of all, it's supposed to be like a podcast, and we were supposed to all be in the same room. Obviously, plans have changed. But so we're kind of doing it this way and trying to just kind of have conversations, spread some positivity, talk about not crazy things, you know, try to break or maybe crazy things, but try to kind of break the cycle of all the negativity going on and whatever. So what we've done is all of us have a topic or something of discussion that we're going to bring up, and then we're just going to talk about it. And so this could be really good or really bad.
Now, before we get into that, can I just point out that if you go to our Facebook page, Cross Church Facebook, and you click on the videos, right there on the screen, you just have two close-ups of Adam's beard.
Right.
From your update where you were walking and talking on your cell phone. The thumbnail that it captured for that is just like this close-up on your beard.
That's fantastic.
So, if anybody wants to see a close-up of Adam's beard, go and check that out.
Yeah, that was really great. You know, I was just walking on the road, and then all of a sudden my signal cuts out, and then I have to start over again.
Well, now looking at all these windows, we could almost go into the game. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. You know, when everyone started sharing that the CDC was recommending that men shave their beards to prevent the spread of coronavirus, I was like, I think that's just a little too far. Like, okay, I can stay at home for a couple weeks. I could not go out, although I'm struggling with that. But shaving my beard, I don't know if I can go there.
Maybe it'd give me an excuse to shave my beard and keep a solar stash. I might go.
Yeah, then you could just you could use that as your excuse for Jamie. I have
the CDC.
Can't find him. Nope.
I went and looked and snooped that, and it's false. They're not recommending that you shave your beard right now.
Also, by the way, for anyone viewing, this is also on YouTube, so you could watch it that way as well. I see a lot of people watching on Facebook, but so we have both things. All right. Does anyone particularly want to start?
Alex wants Eric to grow a beard.
Oh,
so that's what I see here.
Yeah, he does sometimes until he gets annoyed with it and he can't sleep on it. Because it's all mine gets like super prickly and I just can't stand it after.
Well, you've got to get past that stage. Like there's the itchy stage and then the prickly stage.
Yeah, I need some of Adam's beard oil that he's going to be producing is what it is.
Yeah. Well, like one of the things I feel like is always, for some reason, around camp, you always have a beard. The hottest time of the year is when you decide to grow one.
Which Gibble called me on that one year, Chris Gibble, and their awesome sense of humor in that family, where he's like, "I've never really known a person to grow one in an extensive heat wave."
This is
all right. Time. Does anyone want to start with their topic, or I can go with mine? It doesn't really matter.
Go for it.
Okay, so I decided to pick out 3 headlines, and I specifically looked up odd headlines. All right. So first of all, this one's kind of crazy. So somebody from St. Louis had already won $50,000 in the lottery 18 years ago, and then just won $3 million like yesterday or 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So
Jeez.
what do you
Okay.
think of that?
So I just want to share a quick story with you. My dad has a campground, like a permanent campsite out at Carlisle Lake. And it's, 150 or so campers in there. And a big thing going on right now and bars and things like that is this Queen of Hearts drawings. Where it's gambling, whatever, however it works. You give some money, you get some tickets, you pull cards, whatever. So the campground decided to do this, but you had to live in the campground to do it. So it's not going to get so big and unmanageable. Well, my dad wins it. However much money that was, $7,000, something like that. Not a ton of money, but a significant amount of money to put in your pocket. And then the next day wins $10 grand on a scratch off. Back to back, wins this Queen of Hearts, and the next day wins 10 grand on scratch off or lottery or whatever he was playing. So, and I saw none of that money. So, Dad, my dad's not on Facebook. Well, he's kind of on Facebook, but he doesn't really use it. But if he's watching,
my grandpa, what he used to do, I think it was for every million over 100 million, he would buy 1 ticket. So if it was 300 million, he'd buy 300 tickets, and he never won.
Jeez.
But it was just one of those things that he just did. I don't know why, but that was just whatever.
I mean,
but
if you get it, you're set for life.
Yeah, but the fact, because winning the lottery is absolutely difficult. So for somebody to win, now they didn't win a big number. 30,000 is a lot of money. So, but they didn't win a huge number twice. But still, winning the lottery twice, that's pretty insane.
Well, what did you say it was 10,000 then 30,000?
30,000 and then 3 million.
Oh,
That's a big amount of money.
Yeah.
Do you think once you've won, you play more?
Oh, 100%.
You won, you're this is possible. I'm going to play more.
I don't know. Or you're just I've won. I'm not going to try again because I will never win again,
Yeah,
There's no way
definitely not in your
There's
favor.
no way that's how it works. It can't work that way. We wouldn't have gambling addicts.
It's like going to the casino.
Right.
You win once and then they hook you, and then you're no, I can win.
That's that's when you keep going back.
Okay, so second one is this person in Manchester, New Hampshire, asked a man to turn his music down, and he grabs a 2.5 foot long sword and starts chasing this dude with it.
Hold on, the guy with the loud music is chasing with a sword, or the guy who wants it turned down?
No, he's chasing the dude that is asking him to turn down the music.
Okay.
So the guy is like, "Hey, turn down your music," and the other guy grabs a sword and chases after him.
I can see it. He pulls out the sword and Rocky theme music comes on, and he's chasing this dude with the sword with Rocky playing in the background.
Yeah. And apparently he got away with no injuries.
That's good.
So
he went to jail though.
Not a great sword guy. He was charged with criminal threatening. I've never even heard of that before.
Yeah,
they made it up. Should we charge him?
It's a crime that only he can commit. So.
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of live PD, and crazy stuff like that happens all the time. I think every time we watch it, the episode gets over and we're like, man, that was the craziest episode we've ever seen. So.
Well, that's what I've always. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I want to believe, in this scenario, the type of music this person was listening to was death metal.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be way funnier if it was smooth jazz.
You can almost guarantee he's not listening to country music. He's not listening to anything like that. It's got to be. I don't know.
Yeah. I totally agree with Alex too. That instantly when you said he was chasing with a sword, I instantly pictured Adam in my head.
Ginger Ninja. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, well, that's what I've always said because I have a Scottish Claymore that's I think 5 to 6 foot long, and I'm always if somebody breaks in my house, I'm gonna grab that, and if I come out with that, most of the time I feel like somebody's going to go, that dude's a maniac. I got to get out of this house. But
I mean, it sounds like a Will Ferrell skit almost, where
Oh, yeah.
like with the light jazz thing, like
Oh,
you
absolutely.
turn down that music. Leave me alone. Tony Bennett is delightful. Okay.
yeah. So this last one is just an insane story. So
As if the other one was.
yeah.
well, this is like this is insane nature story. So a pregnant cow swims 4 miles to shore after being swept away by Hurricane Dorian in September, and then gave birth.
What?
Yeah. So this cow swims 4 miles in the ocean, I assume, and then still gives birth. And so they're calling it a sea calf, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, so I just thought that was crazy. Like, what a resilient cow. And then the fact that the calf was still like, okay, is insane.
How does a cow get swept away in a hurricane? Like,
Well,
like
it said,
who's the rancher in charge there? Who like, let's bring the cows down by the water as the hurricane comes in. Let them get a drink from the ocean or whatever, and then get
It
swept
said-
4 miles out.
it says it generated an 8-foot mini tsunami, and it washed the calf's mother and dozens of other animals away, including 28 wild horses that died. So, what
Okay,
is that?
so
my
the story
God.
goes on. Like the only thing we're talking
Wow.
about in the story is the one cow that made it back, but all
You
the other
trace-
animals died.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
trace that cow's
But
bloodline
that
back,
cow had a child, and it's
Where
a
was
sea
this?
calf.
That's the-
Where
This
this
was,
at?
let's see, North Carolina's Cedar Island, east of Charlotte.
Okay.
wow.
that's so funny.
Man. Because I was going to say, depending on the region, not to go marine biologist all on you, but the sharks and the
They are
other-
now.
so that's what happened to all the other horses.
Oh yeah, the sharks got
Apparently,
their
they don't
fill.
like cow meat; they like horse meat. But
Yeah.
Yeah, they like sashimi. That's
What a beast.
ridiculous.
Oh, geez.
They're
Eric Noggle said there's seahorses now.
seahorses.
Yeah.
Well, he posed an interesting question before that.
No.
How do you know when you're swimming for fun or swimming not to die?
Oh, yeah.
That's a
And
great
Alex
question.
said not to get
Yeah.
Cameron started, so I want to hear about that.
No, we just argue about it sometimes. It's
Yeah. What is there to argue about? I mean,
it's a hard question. I mean, you answer the question. How do you know?
because when you're swimming for fun, you're swimming for fun.
Right.
When
but
you're
if
that cow swept out to the ocean 4
But-
miles deep,
But here's the thing.
you're swimming to survive.
Aren't you always swimming to survive though? If you stop swimming, you're drowning.
Or
So
you
are
get
you
out of the
having
pool.
fun?
Like you stop swimming and you get out.
That's the real question here. You know, it's like, if I'm swimming to stay alive always.
I
I
got
may be
drowning,
having
yeah.
fun in the midst of it.
I was
but
like, can
am
drowning be fun?
swimming to survive? I'm swimming not to die. Are they the same thing?
And now I leave.
Yeah. Thank
Great.
you, Eric.
I got the solution for Mr. Noggle Gross there, and it's kind of an inside joke, and a couple of you will get that because it goes back to camp. See, what you have to do to gauge this is tie a rope around your waist, and one end connects to the back and goes all the way around the world. And
No, we don't need that.
Front.
We don't need
Oh,
that.
Okay.
We don't need that. We don't need this philosophical conversation. This is supposed to be positive. And also, Kathy made a joke and said, "I bet she did not utter a word."
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
I guarantee you, Opie did not bring her that joke.
Yeah. All right. So who else wants to go? I guess John, do you want to go because yours is more of a serious topic?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't supposed
Oh,
to be
I mean,
serious
it's
because
not
I'm going to make.
serious. But
Yeah.
It's more.
So,
It's more. You know.
so I
life.
wanted to talk about your 2020 goals or resolutions, what you kind of set out for yourself for this year, how you're doing on that or not doing on that. We're almost done with March, and start measuring that. So, how are you guys doing? Did you set any goals for yourselves?
Going with Adam.
I was like,
Yeah, like straight to Adam. Yeah, this one's
Yeah.
for you.
I don't typically set goals. I did. There was a few things. There's just my thing is I'm like I want like I feel like it's not really a goal, but a new year, it's like a new start, and you kind of, because even when I'm like, I want to do this, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start at the beginning of the month. I've always done that for some reason. But so like one of the things for me was trying to exercise 30 minutes a day and then read 30 minutes a day. And I've failed miserably, which part of it was winter has gone on way too long. And my version of exercise is like going outside and walking, and I really like that. Exercising to me without a point is kind of boring. So like I don't like going and lifting weights, but like playing racquetball or playing something, then it's like there's a goal to it. You're not just, pumping iron to. I mean, I'm sure some people have fun with that, but I don't. Yeah, but so yeah, those are my two. I also set a goal at the end of last year too, and I failed too. So I'm just a goal failure, I guess.
Damn.
What about you, Eric?
We're actually at lunch right now, and Cooper doesn't know what he wants on the menu, so he's just, how about everyone else go first? And then
No, I got it. I'm just going.
okay.
Yeah.
I think my biggest goal was to read more. I read and study for messages and things like that. But I've been really wanting to be intentional about like books outside of the Bible, whether that's, nonfiction novels and just in general read more. Because that's something that I didn't do a lot as a kid, and even just through high school and college. And like my reading struggles because of it. And so I think it'd be a really great way to like improve that, grow in that. It was going well. I think the last couple of weeks for everyone's kind of been crazy and hectic and busy. But I'm hoping that I can get back to a place where I might even spend more time reading just because I have, more time on my team, or more time, free time throughout my day.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it
Animal
was
Crossing came out.
yes, and that's the other
Put a stop to that reading.
AJ goes to sleep. Jamie are like, let's play Animal Crossing.
I read the captions. Actually, I don't read the
Right?
captions. I skip them all.
They read it to me too. It's like,
Yeah, it's not English.
yeah.
Right.
That's a good goal.
All right. Mine is listening to God more, and I can hear the groans of, oh, Eric, that's so cliche. But let me tell you, like a little bit in context, where I believe that God in my life, especially the evidence that I've seen, speaks to me in my sort of pet peeves or my irritations, where he'll show me something where, right now it's like it's kind of hard to get anybody to listen to me in any aspect of certain things in life because we're home, we're e-learning, the kids aren't listening to me, all these different things. And there's frustration with that. And it's like, you think to yourself, man, for a guy who's in front of a microphone a lot, there's nobody listening, and God will come back and say, yeah, try that from the beginning of time. And then, there's nobody listening. So if it's irritating me, or being a pet peeve and it's right out front, I know, hey, I got to work on this. I gotta listen to God more. I gotta, whatever it may be in that season, but in this season it's listening.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I should have went before you because we
That was good.
could have ended it with the spiritual answer. So I had two big things this year. One, I started a Bible reading plan, read through the Bible in a year. I've done them several times, but this year I thought, I'm going to do it with a friend of mine. Accountability partner is going to help me stay accountable in that. And he texts, however that word is going to come out. He'll contact me regularly and be like, so how many days behind are you now? Like just rub it in a little bit. So I've not done great on that. And then I also set a goal to run a half marathon this year. And my issue is I like the thought of running. Like, I want to be a person who enjoys running. So I'll tell myself, I like running, and I'll put on my running shoes. Like, I'm going to go out and run. And then I don't. So we had like a membership to the YMCA, and I started like a program to be able to run a half marathon before the end of the year. My goal is by the end of 2020. And I got to the point where I could run a significant distance, significant for me. And then I would like miss going to the gym and running on the treadmill for like 4 days, 5 days, a week, 10 days.
Yeah.
And it just like kept getting bigger, you know.
Mhm.
I'd be like, man, I got to go back. And then I go back and like you start all over.
Yeah.
It's, both of those things though are like they're not huge goals, but they're goals that constantly need attention. You know, you get into a Bible reading plan, and the goal is not necessarily that you would read through the whole Bible. The goal is that you would be in the Bible every day, right? And so you have this read through the Bible in a year, so it has kind of this tangible, like you see an end. But it's really about developing that habit of being in the Word every day, like you're saying, Eric, like Cameron's saying. But I just never got to that point. You know, they say it takes 21 days to make a habit. Well, I made it over 21 days. You know, I think I made it like 60 days without missing, and then it just like fell apart.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look at it now that we're talking, because that's the right thing to do. And I see how many days behind I am on that.
Mhm.
So did you, with like PT, like in military and stuff, did you never really, like, did that not carry over into like civilian life?
So when I was in the military, I had to run.
Right.
And so I ran. I've missed 10 days, by the way, on my Bible
10
reading
days.
plan. 10 days missed. Yeah. So I had to run. So I would get out and I'd run, and I would run whatever I had to, whether it was the Air Force PT test was only 1.5 miles. So it was not very frequent that you had to run more than that. But if you did, like, I would go out and I would run it, and I would come home. When I was in the Air Force, I was a PT monitor. Like, I would administer PT tests and lay out programs for people who couldn't pass PT tests. But when I got out of the military, I didn't have to do that anymore. I'm like, why would I?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why go and run?
One more time.
Yeah. So it just kind of, and it's not like I didn't forget how to run. It's not like riding a bike, right, where you forget. But it's, however that saying goes. But it is like the stamina goes away, kind of just like fades off, and all of a sudden you want to go out and run 5 miles, and you're in a 1.5 miles in, and you're like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. I'm so over this.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, that's the reason for me, like, reading became, because I used to read all the time when I was a kid, but then when you get into high school and stuff and you're like forced to read, it became like okay, well, now I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore, you know, which it sucks because I love reading, but it's just like you get to that point where you're just kind of like, I did it all the time, and now I really don't want to.
I can't think of a book that I read that was not required reading. I can think of one book throughout all of my education until college that I read willingly. And the only reason I read it is because the library at school required you to have a permission slip signed by your parents to check it out. I'm like, if my parents have to sign that permission slip, I want to read this book. And so I did. I checked it out. I read it, and I loved it. It was a great book. But it wasn't like something where I was like, man, I want to read more. And then when I got into college, you get to a certain point in college, and all it is reading. And so you just read, write, and that's it. And I enjoyed reading then, but it still wasn't leisure reading. And it wasn't until they announced that they were going to make the Hunger Games movie series. I was like, oh man, this is based on a book. Let me see if I can read this. And I was on a temporary assignment to Guam. I was in Guam with the military. I really didn't have much to do. So I'm like, I'm going to read this series. And like, I knocked out all 3 books in like 4 days.
Wow.
And that was like just finding something that I really enjoyed to open up this idea of leisure reading. And since then I've read a lot of books leisurely, but that really helped for me.
Yeah. I asked the chat what their goals were. Alex said her goals were to increase her shoulder strength and spend less money on frivolous items and be a more positive influence. So,
Those are great goals.
yeah, hope you're doing well with those. And then Haley Bray said Animal Crossing. Is her new goal for April.
We have all this
Let's see.
extra time at home right now. I feel like
Yeah, I
Animal
know.
Crossing should be high on everybody's
Everyone's
goals.
list. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
That's,
I'm
you know.
surprised that Tekla and Kennedy or Weston haven't caught.
I know. Yeah.
Like,
I
they're
feel like
usually
Tekla would
on.
be like right up on that.
Yeah.
Because it's cute and fun. You know, it's because it's like Minecraft, but
But,
Yeah.
but do they have anybody pushing it on them? Like if they were at school, their friends
Right.
would be mentioning it.
That's
right?
true,
But
yeah.
now they're at
Well,
home.
I mean, Weston is on his headset a lot. Him and his buddies usually play Fortnite and just various things. But they'll get on that and then go to a computer, like some random like little 8-bit computer game and play together. Like
Yeah.
they'll use the Switch to like actually. I'm like, all right.
Oh yeah. Laura Large said her goals were to lose a couple pounds for her daughter's wedding, and this whole home thing and cooking/baking things is definitely not
Oh,
helping.
man.
I agree with that.
Oh
This
man.
is like snack city right now.
Mm.
Laura, if Laura's still in here, I'd love to know if her daughter is still getting married in June or if that's been postponed or what's going on with that.
Yeah.
And
I know
then,
I know there's a lot of issues going on right now with that.
yeah, Haley Bray said some of us only run when there is a purpose, like someone chasing you.
Honestly, that's why I made the goal. Like the purpose, like I had to have a purpose. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to run more. Like, let me set this goal. Okay, I'm going to do a half
Yeah.
marathon because I'm not crazy. A marathon would just be crazy. And honestly, I'm in shape. I'm in shape enough that I could go run a 5K. I could go tomorrow and run a 5K.
Well, good for you.
So-
Gosh dang it.
Yeah, Cameron, we're going to hang out. We're going to do books on tape and run.
Man.
I'm in.
So what I'm hearing here is we just need to tell more random people, to turn their music down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, that's
Chase
what
after people with swords. And then Haley Bray asked, "What was the book?"
That got
Oh,
me
yeah.
reading.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the Hunger Games series. That's
Well, that
kinda
was the
what-
one. That was the one that your parents had to sign out.
Oh no! I'm not
No,
going to
that's-
tell you what
yeah.
that was. No,
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what that was. It's
That's
I would not
private.
recommend that anybody read.
Oh, there we go.
Uh,
Okay.
Is it
Yeah.
50 Shades, right?
And you have to remember, so I wasn't a Christian when I was in high school.
Oh
so,
yeah.
So
so
it
my
was 50
standards
Shades
were
of Grey.
so different than.
I'm curious.
than
You're
they
gonna
are
have to
now.
tell me after this is
Yeah,
over.
we're
gonna- Yeah. So we get this beautiful feature of a private chat. So
My question is, have I read it? That's my biggest question.
there you go. I put it in a private chat for you.
Oh, okay. I've heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to go next?
I will, but before, I'll say my biggest problem with reading is like so I'm leadership, right? The spiritual gift, and one of the drawbacks is starting something and not finishing it. And so I find myself always starting a book and not finishing a book. And like, that's like, it drives me insane, but I'm also just like,
Yeah, I'm
I
a
don't really
firm
want to do
believer
it.
in not all books are worth finishing.
Yeah.
Some books you get into them and it's a 400-page book or whatever, and you're 300 pages into it, and you're like, yeah, I don't really care how this ends.
That's
Like,
true.
why
I mean, if that's the case, then half my bookshelf are not worth reading.
yeah, mine too. There's a lot I haven't finished.
I think that was
Laura
the problem
said-
with English class back in school and whatnot. It was like, here, read this. It's great. And no, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
Laura,
Laura, I'm
you
happy
are
to hear that
getting
they are getting married. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
June 20th. So,
cool. Praise God.
okay, what's your topic, Cameron?
Yeah, so I watch documentaries quite a bit, so I'll hop on YouTube and find random documentaries and things like that. And I watched a 15-minute documentary about a guy that had only eaten Velveeta shells his entire life. And like to the point like he only ate it out, like he cooked it in the same pot. He used the same spoon every single time.
Wow.
Like he had like this, he didn't change a single thing when it came to it. He ate it for breakfast, he ate it for lunch, and he ate it for dinner. And I was just curious, like, if you guys had to pick one thing, what would that be?
Okay,
One
first
thing-
of all, why?
I have okay.
Okay, so
It goes into
everything in me goes, what was the traumatic experience
Exactly.
that happened in this guy's life?
exactly.
It made
yeah.
him think, you know what, for the rest of my life, I'm just going to eat Velveeta
Yeah,
shells.
it got pretty deep. Actually, like it ended with him like going to like a food psychiatrist and stuff. Like,
Wow.
I didn't even know that existed.
yeah, it came down to like had a really awful home life, and
Yeah.
I see Henry in a window behind
So
you.
do I. Hey,
Had a really awful home life, and like that was like his comfort. And so
Okay.
like when he came home, like when mom and dad were fighting or whatever, he ate Velveeta cheese shells.
Mm.
Or like the biggest thing was when he was at his grandparents' house, like that's what he had, like that was his escape, and like that's just
Gotcha.
what he was comfortable with.
mashed potatoes.
So it was kind of dark, and I'm making it a little lighter, but it was still crazy to think about.
I don't know if anybody like heard me because I think everybody was talking at the time, but I straight up said pizza right out of the gate.
Out of the gate,
Yeah.
pizza.
Yeah.
See, so I had Emo's Pizza for dinner tonight.
Kyle says
Which
tacos.
I love Emo's
man.
Pizza, but I could not eat it like my only food for the rest of my life. I don't.
Well,
I need
see,
to try Emo's again because I wasn't a fan.
I
you got
love
tomatoes,
Emo's.
you got different types of cheeses, you got different types of meat and toppings. You could put veggies on it.
Uh-huh.
You could put fruit on it if you're desperate, which maybe that would be the only way that would.
Dude, that's
I was gonna say, can we pause this and say, do we eat ham and pineapple? Is that pizza?
Oh man,
yes.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I think
really
it
good
is.
pizza.
So, but we can say the same thing about Kyle. Kyle says tacos, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I could have a breakfast taco for breakfast, and I could
Yeah.
have a veggie taco for lunch.
That's
I
true.
See, that's the thing with pizza, though. Too, you could have buffalo chicken, you could have breakfast pizza, you could
But-
have like
You went straight for buffalo chicken. I'm
I
having
mean-
buffalo chicken pizza.
It's
But
hot.
is that what we're asking though? Because like technically he ate one kind.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
you know, so like
Yeah.
is it pepperoni pizza from
Buffalo chicken
like,
pizza the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, that's too hard of a question to
Yeah.
For me, it's so hard. I like too many foods.
I honestly don't know.
yeah.
I'm a
If
big
I had
fan
the
of a lot of
variables,
things.
like how I was saying, it would definitely be pizza. But if it would take me a minute, if it's just like, oh no, hey, just like you can put as many toppings or whatever you want on it, but that's your pizza. Like that's your one pizza that you get to.
Yeah, I feel like you would get tired of it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the, because no matter what, even if it's something you love, if you eat it long enough, you're probably going to be like, man, I really want something else. And I
This
think
guy
that's
was,
what
like,
my,
all for it.
yeah, I
Right.
think that's what my problem would be is I'd be like, man, what are all the foods that I'm missing?
Yeah.
Stuff from Uptown currently.
Yeah.
Well, he
my-
said like if he ate
my
it,
wife
if he
said
cooked
cereal.
it in a different pot,
Yeah.
he could taste the difference, and he didn't like that.
Mm.
Wow.
Like if he
Dang.
ate mac and cheese for so
Mm.
much and so long, if he ate like a hot dog or
Mm.
something like that, like he would get sick.
Yeah.
His
Salads.
body wouldn't handle it.
Not a bad
It was
choice.
crazy.
See,
Yeah,
Cameron, we have to get into the really root issue. Like, what are you doing watching a 15-minute documentary on a guy who only ate macaroni?
Dude, come on. It
He's
was
prepping.
interesting.
He's prepping.
It was awesome. I love it. I would say sushi
sushi?
for sure. I think I would have to go sushi.
Camden is on Pizza Train.
Yeah. Here we go.
Ryan
Okay.
Tosh says ribeye steak.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was my initial
Oh.
thought. Steak. Like, I could do
Yeah.
steak,
I could
Yeah.
do steak.
but man, it's going to kill you so quickly.
And then Alex said
Maybe.
Frickles.
Frickles. There you go.
Just from Uptown, though.
Yeah, that's
Can't
it.
get 'em from anywhere
I mean, I'm saying eating greasy pickles every day.
Yeah.
Is
That
that
would
a-
else. They're going to kill you.
Well, that's why I didn't go with like B-dubs, like boneless wings or
Yeah.
something like that. You know, it's like
I don't know.
Boneless
That's just
wings are
so
not-
difficult.
It's such an oxymoron. Boneless wings are chicken nuggets.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It makes me mad when people order
They're
boneless
just,
wings.
they're
I'm
just
sorry,
you don't
Eric.
dip the sauce. They're already
Don't order boneless wings.
I ain't got time to get around that bone.
I
I
just
take a bite and get it going.
No, that's
Oh,
kids'
no.
food. Like the kids can have it.
I've got all the time in the world for that.
I would prefer not to get it in
bone.
my beard. That's kind of my thing. That's why I don't eat bone in. Well, I mean, I eat bone in, but at Buffalo Wild Wings, I get the boneless.
The thing with Camden though is he's only eating cheese pizza. He doesn't.
Yeah.
There's no variety for him.
No.
That's all he eats is cheese pizza.
That's such a waste. Like
Yeah.
cheese pizza is good, but man, you got to put toppings on it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree. I totally agree. Do you see Laura Large's answer, Adam?
Yeah.
What
Salad.
Her
salad?
husband.
Yeah.
Her
Oh,
husband's answer?
Yeah, her
Sorry.
husband would say cow.
Would just say cow. That's a great answer. That's
That
a
is-
smart answer.
The one that swam out of the ocean in particular.
Yeah.
Who's already salted.
Sea cat.
Cheese pizza is underrated. Yeah, okay,
No.
Camden.
Perfectly
You
rated.
have like cheese pizza with some like red pepper flakes and stuff like that on it. That's good.
Yeah.
Then you have a little more flavor.
Kindred spirit with Kevin from Home Alone there. Cheese
Yeah.
pizza.
Well, I feel like none of us really answered that question, but
Yeah.
that's
all
a
actually
that's just,
Cameron, Cameron, your
It's
question
so hard.
sucked.
Yeah, my question sucked.
I think my
I
wife
thought you were going to ask
ribs,
like,
though.
what
Barbecue
documentary
ribs.
you're
Ribs?
watching.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, are there any documentaries that really stood out to you? You're like, I watched a documentary. What would you eat?
Yeah, heck
Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, I would probably think about it too hard for the amount of time, and then I'd probably just starve, like because I couldn't pick one.
Right.
Just don't eat anything.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I could eat burritos, but like tacos are good. I don't know. Pizza sounds good.
if we went like super versatile, it would be tacos for me. Like, okay,
Yeah.
any form of tacos, I'm gonna stick with tacos.
You could have shrimp tacos.
And with,
Yeah.
with pizza, that's versatile. Breakfast pizza and all that stuff. So
Alex said, "Has anyone seen the Tiger King documentary?"
okay, I saw
Teresa was asking me about that. I don't know.
people talk-
I've heard about it, but
It's on my watch list for sure.
I did not watch it, but I don't know that I want to either. So
I heard it.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't even know what it's
pretty
about.
crazy.
So
it's about the Tiger King.
It's about the Tiger King. He has
Yeah.
tigers for pets. He's been hired to kill. He's traffic
Wow.
drugs, I believe.
it's
Like,
literally
he's just-
called Tiger King: Murder, Mayhem, and Madness.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Good
That
title.
that sounds terrifying.
We're all going to watch it this week before our next staff chat, and we'll come back with a review.
Apparently,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
yeah.
Should do that.
No.
All right, Eric, what's your topic?
Okay, it's my usual go-to, but I've adapted it. So, what three people? And I'm going to take it a little further
Oh no.
because, okay. So, what three people? You got one that's alive, one that's deceased and is like some sort of Jedi force spirit, and the other one is a fictional character, whether from
Ooh.
cartoon books or whatever. You got those three. The stipulations are obviously we would all choose Jesus. So other than
Skip
that,
it.
and
Yeah.
the living one, just so people aren't saying their wives, this is a big party. Everyone you care about in the world is there. So this is their present to you, these three people.
Thanks for the save.
Go.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw this. I was not thanking my wife at all. So thank you for. I know she's watching. So
Hey, why did you
sorry.
say that?
I'm sorry about that. But,
You could have kept that a secret.
Yeah.
She would have never known.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, so my deceased one, I know this for a fact, would be C.S. Lewis, because I think that'd be really cool to have a conversation with him, and I love his books. That or J.R.R. Tolkien, which I'm sure Eric might pick too. My living person, I don't know. Living person is hard because I have a lot. I would say somebody like either like a Chris Pratt or a Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Or there's somebody else that I was thinking about, or even like Tyler Joseph or somebody like that. I think that'd be
Okay,
cool.
come on, dude.
Yeah. What was that? Yours?
You need to chill out.
Sorry. And then fictional. I'm gonna have to think on that one because that's I don't know. Yeah. Anybody else got your answers?
No.
I think for deceased, like probably George Washington or somebody in that time frame, somebody who witnessed and was involved in the birth of a nation. I think that'd just be really fascinating conversation. And that's the only one I can think of. Fictional characters. I don't know.
What about current?
From the Hunger Games? Is that what? No?
No, you're going to hang on to the Hunger Games thing, That was a good book series, Eric.
Hey, it was. I read them all.
Yeah.
and I was ticked off at one part in particular where I was just like, that was the dumbest thing that ever. So I read them and I was mad at them. So there you go.
Did you read them before the movies?
Yeah. Yep.
I read them because of the movies, but before the movies came out, so I still had that comparison.
Yeah.
For somebody who's live, I don't know. I'd stick with president and go with George W. Bush, just because I like W.
I like W.
Yeah. So.
Well, you like W's or you like
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I'm bored, I just doodle the letter
W's.
W over and over. That's it.
Oh, that's funny. This is going to sound redundant, but I also would probably pick. See, I'll do somebody different because I would say like a Chris Pratt, Tyler Joseph. 'Cause I feel like there's somebody that would be like super easy to talk to. Like they just seem like they're genuine and real in everything they do, and they're down to earth. And like when you would meet them, you'd be able to have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
But for the sake of you answering them, I'll go with Post Malone. I kind of look like him, and I think
You kind of look like him. Look at that.
maybe I
Like
could
a
tell him-
face
tell him
tattoo
about
filter.
Jesus. But for dead, I was thinking like conspiracy. So like
Lee Harvey
Lee
Oswald.
Harvey Oswald, or like something like that, just to like
Like figure out the truth.
like just to
Yeah.
hear what they say, or
That's interesting.
or whatever. What? Oh,
Ryan Tosh said you need more face tats.
I would
Yeah, there you go.
for sure. Well, so I was gonna
Get
do.
matching ones.
I just bought some off Amazon. Like you can buy all his face tattoos,
Yeah.
and I wanted to put them all on to see how
Halloween.
how similar do I?
We're on quarantine right now. It's the perfect time to have face tattoos.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Real quick, Camden said Chris Farley,
Ooh.
deceased,
That's good.
John Foreman for alive, and SpongeBob for fictional.
I love that actually.
For some
And
reason,
then,
SpongeBob popped into my head when Cameron was talking. I was like, he's gonna go with SpongeBob.
I
and
would.
then apparently Kathy said Bing Crosby, which
Oh.
is a great one. That's a good one. I
Wow.
would definitely be into that.
Yeah, we got
Um,
to meet
Will
with
Ferrell for
people
alive.
at
I
a
changed mine
concert in
too.
Okinawa, and it was like the military like hosted the concert for them to come, and they didn't advertise it at all. So it's like this super small, like maybe 100 people, right, at a concert. And then afterwards, they were like, "We're just going to hang out. Anybody who wants to come and talk and meet us, like, we're just going to hang out and chat." And so everybody at the concert was able to hang out with John Foreman, which was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah. What are yours, Eric?
Well, obviously, music is going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult one for me, especially when you have the dead or alive thing, because you got John Lennon, Elvis, you got my favorites that are still alive here. But I think like originally I was going to go with John Mayer, which would be no surprise there. But I think as far as the group would go, there's a train. I don't know if you can hear it. I would actually pick Bryan Adams over him, because I feel like I mean I've listened to his music since I was little, and he's a pretty interesting guy as far as like he does photography. Like a lot of people don't know that he does like various things. He's a vegan. He's got just several different viewpoints, and I think that would be really cool. As to where I think John might be a little bit more sporadic, because he's a bit more like uber creative, and he would be bored really easily. Now, the reason that the musician will go in the living is because in the deceased, this person beats everybody else by thousands and thousands of miles from me. It would be my grandpa on my dad's side. He had passed away when Dad was in high school, so I never got to meet him, and I think it would be just a great. People say that I look like him, like in the family, so it'd be just a great like sit down and try and learn from him, or what he thinks about all this, what's going on, or how this time frame feels. Sorry about the train whistle. The Amtrak's relentless.
Like Cameron
And
muted.
then my fictional character, I for some reason I just keep going back to Gandalf. So
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. Somebody from like Lord of the Rings or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Fictional
I'd say-
character is so hard to.
Right.
What?
It's definitely the
gonna say-
oddball.
I think I would say Ron Swanson. Does that
There you
count?
go.
I mean, yeah, it's a fictional character.
The easy take and learning how to build stuff.
But
That's
see, like, so if I went Parks and Rec, right? So I love Ron Swanson, but April Ludgate for sure.
Oh yeah.
But then you look at like Aubrey Plaza in her real life, like she is April Ludgate. Like,
Yeah.
like that is her. So it's like that could be either fictional or that could be real. It's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura Large said Abraham Lincoln, which would be interesting.
Yep.
Jack Ryan from the movies. Gabby said Fred Rogers, which I think would be super cool. Camden said Bryan Adams is good. Freddie Mercury.
Yep.
Ooh.
And then Gabby said Walt Disney, which would be
Oh, that'd be cool.
one for her. Yeah.
I mean, my second choice would definitely be someone like John Lennon. I mean, who is at the forefront of bringing
Yeah.
that wave of rock music, over in England, from England there at the time.
Yeah.
And they just were huge, and they were big. Like, I love that movie Yesterday, that was about
So good.
the guy who has a coma and the Beatles don't exist, and what doesn't exist because the Beatles weren't there.
Yeah. I mean, that concept is a pretty crazy idea just for anything, you think about even yourself, like what would not exist if you weren't, even though we may not have been like a huge influence on stuff, like something would change, with us not being here or whatever.
Mhm.
So you think about those kind of, or like Elvis Presley, or like some of the people that have changed music or changed history, what if they did not exist?
Martin
what would
Luther.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this topic you could talk about forever because there's so many people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because like I was thinking even like Tom York, like I'd love to pick that dude's brain because he's a maniac. Like, just a musical genius that's there. So
Or like Al Pacino or something.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
or like the Anglin brothers, because I might be related to them. Something like that. There's all kinds of. I mean, historically too. Like, I mean, I would be in the same boat as you, Eric. Like, where I never met my grandparents on my mom's side. So something like that, would be cool. So that is really awesome. And that's the end of the topics. So one of the channels that I watched for a while is called Geek Bomb on YouTube, and one of the things that they do is called Powered. And so it's what are you playing, what are you watching, what are you reading, and what are you doing? So I think that's an interesting topic. So for me, I'm playing Animal Crossing, and I'm playing Call of Duty Warzone. And then watching, right now I'm watching the second season of Altered Carbon on Netflix.
Yes.
Oh,
So
there's
that's
a second season of that? Nice.
Just
Yeah,
came
just came
out. Yeah.
Oh.
What am I reading? I'm reading Matilda by Roald Dahl, because I'm going through, like, I have a whole collection that I'm trying to get through with him. And then what am I doing? Staying at home in my house.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm playing Fortnite, and yeah, that's about. I play that in Clash Royale on my phone. That's about the only games that I'm playing. Reading, I just got a book called Enough About Me that I've been trying to start reading, but it's just sat in my backpack for like a couple weeks. And you'd like to think, oh, all this extra time at home, I'm going to read more. No, I'm not. It doesn't happen. Watching, Gretchen just started us watching New Girl.
Yes.
We love sitcoms. something short that I can sit down and watch 3 episodes and not feel bad about it, I guess. So we just started, well, not just started, we're a few seasons into New Girl. And then doing is this like never ending list of honeydews that, you keep saying you'll do when you have time for. And now I don't have an excuse. So some of those every day and just working on those.
Yeah. For me, I'm playing Animal Crossing. It's a good one. I'm playing Warzone as well. Let's see, what else am I playing? I'm playing Magic Gathering. I'm sorry. Holy cow! MTG Arena. I can't even remember what that stands for anymore. Magic the Gathering Arena. Online. I'm playing a lot of League of Legends, for that matter. I have too many games. Just bought Fire Emblem for the Switch that I need to play, but I haven't played yet. A book that I want to read that I'm going to be reading is called A Letter. I believe it's called A Letter to the Students. It's by
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen. Thank you. I was going to say John Allen. I almost slipped my mind, but he's the president at
Midwestern.
Thank you.
Sorry.
You're good. You're on it. You beat me to it. Yeah, he's the president of Midwestern Seminary. It's going to be one of the books I want to start. I plan on reading. Haven't started reading yet. And I'm with you on the honeydew list. That's kind of what we spent probably, 6 hours today just getting rid of clutter and cleaning, and just kind of a perfect time for that. And if we're not doing that, we're drawing chalk on, or doing chalk on the sidewalk outside and doing bubbles with AJ. So.
Yeah, Kate Dawson just asked for recommendations on Disney Plus, and I would definitely say The Mandalorian.
Sure,
and then for me, like the only reason I signed up for Disney Plus was Mandalorian and Boy Meets World.
Ooh, yes,
I love Boy Meets
school
World.
Mr. Feeney.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so bad too. If you go back and watch it as an adult, you're like, this was a horrible show.
Yeah.
But I loved it as a kid. It's just nostalgia. So
yeah, that's one of Gabby's favorites.
If you're into documentaries, watch Free Solo.
Yeah, I still need to watch that.
It's about the guy that attempted to free solo El Capitan, which is like 3,506 miles of the hardest rock wall, like natural rock wall, and it's just it like I had anxiety watching it. Like it was intense.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we watched High School Musical, the series, and it honestly was not as bad as I expected. I actually really enjoyed it. So there's one there. We watched all. We'll eat. Also, if you're into like theater stuff, Encore is really cool. It's a show about like 10, 15, 20 years later after high school, going back and redoing a play that you did in high school. And so it's like all these people that haven't talked to each other in forever, like rehashing things. Some episodes, like you have people that broke up for no reason and they still haven't gotten over that. So it's a really cool show, and you get to see, people kind of become kids again, I guess, because sometimes when you get into the, adult world, you kind of lose that. Yeah. The fun and that kind of stuff, and so it's a really cool show if you like musical stuff.
I forgot to do my watching. Did I do that?
No, I don't know.
Sorry, we haven't let Eric go at all yet. So.
I didn't do any of mine.
Yeah. What are you watching, Karen?
Well, what are you watching?
Season 3 of Ozark. Coming out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to finish season 2 of Westworld, but I'm just slow at that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And then my daughter actually, ironically, has been watching Spider-Woman on Disney Plus. And it's from like, I don't know. Feels like, I need to look it up. It feels like it's from like the 80s.
Wow.
But she just absolutely loves it.
That's good.
Yeah. Me?
Yeah.
I'm playing Fallout 76.
Oh wait, I got something else. No, I'm just kidding.
With my brother-in-laws and actually a sister-in-law now as well.
Oh boy,
So she's working up the ranks. I think she's about level 20, while the rest of us are about 100 something. So we're just like, we're your bodyguards. Let's see, what was the reading?
Yeah.
Is I just started. There's a couple things. Nate bought me this book a while back from one of the pastors, I think, at Emmaus Church that Josh is pastor of. Revelation and Response. So I started that one, and I've been reading through. I have a book of all these O. Henry short stories. He's like one of my favorite authors. He was his most famous one was like The Gift of the Magi. So that's in there. It's just a kind of collection of all his works. So I just started rereading that. Watching. Teresa's doing most of the watching. I do my that pedal show, the JHS show, and various things from like Anderton's. But as far as a show, I think I've got a couple Supernaturals left on the DVR, but I think today she's knocked out a couple seasons of Once Upon a Time. Yeah. So she's on that.
Yeah.
And then doing is, helping 3 kids in 3 different grades e-learning.
Yeah.
Once that starts up, it's just in the morning, it's just like a hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked for 56 minutes now, so that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
It only felt like 3 hours. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you, everyone, for getting on, and thank you guys for joining us. This was fun, and we'll do it again. I don't know if it'll be the same people or different people. We'll figure it out, but just thank you for watching. I hope that you're seeing all the content that we're putting out throughout the week, because we're trying real hard to keep you engaged and keep you connected, even though we can't meet together. And this is one of the ways that, like, even though we're doing it for you, it's really just us all hanging out because we can't. So it's kind of catching up and whatever. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you join us throughout the week. And then I really hope that you join us on Sunday as well for our services at 9 a.m. So thank you for joining. And does anyone else have anything to say before we go?
Bring AJ in. We want to see AJ.
And there she is.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Right.
Can you wave?
Yeah.
Paw Patrol juice.
Right.
Paw Patrol juice.
I would just say if anybody has suggestions for what we should talk about next week, to leave them in the comments or let us know, and then we could have conversations about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
Mommy. See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.